Hello my fellow mayors and welcome once again to Perafilozof City Skylines videos. In this one I'll be trying to get as much population as possible in this city on the hard mode. I'm trying to reach 1 million population and we'll see if that's even possible. There are a few hurdles that I've gone through already, which was the time when I had very low population demand, which I've found a way around by decreasing the taxes with the global tax down to 9%. Then I reduced the taxes additionally with the tax relief policy in the new areas, and you can see that that is bearing fruit. I am managing to upgrade a lot of these areas to good. I'm managing to get a lot of sims to move into these new areas. These newest ones over here are still empty, which is understandable because I have upgraded entire city's worth of building. An entire city's worth of buildings after I had built the Hadron Collider, and I didn't even show it off last time, so you could see how exactly this look like. I mean, most of you have probably built one already, but in case you haven't, this is how it looks like. It requires a lot of power, water, and large expense per month, but it makes sure that you have absolute education coverage throughout your city. You can see that my highly educated sims are now at 88%. All of my buildings ended up leveling up. Okay, almost all of them ended up leveling up because of the high education. One thing that I haven't done though is to bulldoze all the elementary schools, the high schools, the universities across the city that I have built previously before I had the Hadron Collider, as I do not need these buildings anymore and I can use their space to build other services or more zones. So I will take some time to go throughout the city and bulldoze all of these. Alright, so I've gotten rid of pretty much every school, elementary, high school and university throughout the city, and this would leave a lot of empty zones like this. So I will take some time to go throughout the city and fill these up with the appropriate zones depending on what exactly was here. For example, here you can see that there could be a larger residential area where there used to be a university, and that's pretty much the same across the city, and I can go through the entire city and make sure to use up these areas now. Okay, so I've gone through the city and pretty much demolished every single one of those education buildings, the elementary schools, the high schools, and the universities. I have filled up those empty spots with zones, depending on what was supposed to go there, depending on which zones were there. So here where the university was, now I have more residential zoned. The problem with residential is that I pretty much have so much of it zoned and so much left off for the teams to move into that it's going to take a very long time before I can actually get more of the newest zones to be built up as residential. So I just simply have to wait, and the teams are moving in. My population is at a constant increase, with the birth rate itself being higher than the death rate. As for the goods, I have finally managed to balance out all the goods, so I'm now exporting around 1000 goods while I'm not importing any at all, and just 6700 products from which I make goods. As for the garbage production, it is at around 1,104 units per week, while my capacity is 1,095,000 units per week. Therefore, soon I will need to turn on another incinerator. My income is at around 73,000 at the moment, as my income is 372,350, while the total expenses are 298,000 and change. The office tax has to remain at 12, the tax for industry as well. As for the residential at 9%, and I still have a lot of income, so I don't really need to worry about that at all. As for the industry itself, I do have a large demand, and this is due to the amount of unemployed sims. Now the trick here is that I'm not sure who are these sims, because if you take a look at my population, it is 188,000, out of which I have employed 96,000, so this is 50%. If we take a look over here, the sims who actually work are the adults at 42% and the young adults at 20%, so this is about 62% population. So if we take this into account and we look at that only the young adults and the adults are the working class, this means that there is a 61% of population who is supposed to be employed, and 61% out of 170,000 would be kinda more than these 96,000. So the question is, where are the rest of them? For some reason, they seem to be unemployed. And the weird thing is, it says that 36% unemployment. That would mean that I need to employ a lot more than the difference between the 61% here, of which it can work, if you understand what I've just said. So basically, I have a discrepancy here because 61% of my population are supposed to work. This here says that 36% of my total population are unemployed, which means that around 18% are the actual unemployed of the workforce. And while over here, when I look at this number and compare it to the population number, I do not see where those workers are supposed to be. So I guess it is just not actually clear how many of those are supposed to be workers. Maybe even teens can work, I'm not sure. So basically what I need to do is to increase the amount of open jobs. But the weird thing is I already did that, and you can see that there are 5,000 jobs that are not filled. So I'm sitting here looking at this and scratching my head thinking, wait a minute, if I have 36% unemployment, why do I have 5,000 jobs open and not filled? And here says I have to build a lot more industry. But each industrial building with itself, as I told you, takes jobs that are not for the highly educated. So I would actually just keep building more industry while not actually building the necessary amount of jobs. Now you could say that the industrial demand can be filled with the offices as well, and in the offices, for example at level 3, let's find an office at level 3, the workplaces are 12 highly educated and 8 well educated, but this still means that there would be a lot of highly educated who might not want to work at those lower educated jobs, the jobs requiring lower educated population. So the only way to go forward, and I do continuously need goods, so I cannot just stop building generic industry. The way to go forward would be to add more offices somewhere in order to create those jobs for the highly educated who seem to be unemployed at this moment. So let's try that out. I'm gonna go here, extend some of these streets. I will also need a ramp here because I haven't had one in a very long time, and I kinda messed up this area here with the Hadron Collider and the aquarium and the Theater of Wonders, as I cannot place a highway ramp there. You could say that I might try placing a highway ramp here, but I was kinda trying to avoid placing highway ramps inside of residential areas, although I do have this one here and a road, and there is still not that much noise pollution, so that might even work out. Yeah, I'm gonna try it. I'm going to place a ramp here, kind of trying to get it. There we go, that's what I was trying to get. And now if it can connect nicely and be straight about it, this should do the trick. And now if I can just keep going straight, yeah, it's gonna try and curve a little bit. That's not what I want. I need to be perfectly straight. Here we are, and then onto the highway. So I didn't lose too many residential areas, although the streets look like they have lost their perfect zones, so I will probably have to bulldoze these and redo them if I want to get those perfect zones back. Okay, so I made sure to increase the size of this network here, the bus network, and now I can zone some more offices here. as many as it takes to make sure to employ all those teams who seem to be unemployed at the moment. So how many would this be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and this would be 10. So 10 by 4 zones of industry, and let's see how many unemployed am I going to have after building this. It should reduce the unemployment, although it's going to increase the jobs available. At the moment there's 6% unemployment, and yet it seems to be the same for now. I do need a new metro stop though here, which I haven't noticed till now. So let's build it right here, and needs to get a connection to this line. That's pretty much everything. I could add another one over here someplace. Although it's going to be a good question, where exactly can I fit it? Yeah, I'm not sure how it's going to work out here. Let's see. Okay, it can fit here. And then to connect it here, and then to connect these two through here, and then connect them both with the green line, and that should do the trick for this area. As for this road itself, I guess it could be connected through here, I suppose. It's not that bad, could be worse. As for the garbage, I'm probably now producing more than I can handle, almost. So need to turn on another incinerator. As for the income, it is continuously going down. Now it's at 66,000. Although, yeah, now it's at 65. So the game has yet to make sure to see just how much income should I have after I had upgraded so much of the city after placing the Hadron Collider. Over here I had also expanded this zone, this district with the tax raise policy, so that all of these residential areas and the residents who live here will pay the bonus 2% on top of the regular 9%, because they have pretty much everything and all the services, and also they have the high-tech housing policy turned on, and that one is a costly one. In this area I am still yet to fill up all of these homes. Population is up to 189,850. And how is the unemployment rate now? 35%. So I did manage to reduce the unemployment by what, 1%, while I've used up pretty much my entire industrial demand with these offices, and I hadn't even built up all of them. So you can see that after building the Hadron Collider, some weird things can happen to your city. This is why I kinda did not wish to build it, but I was kinda getting tired of building so many schools and paying so much for my education. So I went with this, and we'll see how this ends up compared to the education previously. I mean, it did level up a lot of the city, and I am having a much larger income now, but a lot of things have changed, and you see, for example, not enough customers. Then the buildings are more, the new residential buildings are more susceptible to the noise pollution. The commercial buildings do not have enough customers, as there aren't enough teams in the city itself. So yeah, problems just piling up onto each other. As for the import, 8,500, exports 1,000 goods, public transportation used by 17,000 population, not even 10%, which is pretty annoying because I used to have more than 10%. Death care and healthcare look to be fine. And what was it that I wanted to check out? Yes, the power and the water. Both seem to be okay. In the previous episode I thought I had lost power. Actually, I didn't lose the power, nor did I spend a lot more. It was after turning off the incinerators that I had a power loss, because the incinerators create power as they burn down the trash. And now that I mentioned the incineration plants, yeah, this one should probably be turned on, so it that it can start collecting all of this garbage created by these new areas. I don't see any new residential buildings being built up here, but the population seems to be going up and down a little bit, not passing 190,000 at this point. The industrial demand is now up to medium once again, and the unemployment is still at 35%. So it will be interesting to see how this develops in the future. I even seem to have some problems with crime for some reason, even though the crime rate is just 7%. Although it did used to be 4, didn't it? It could be that the police are spread thin and that there just aren't enough of them. In that case, I may end up tearing down this small police station and creating a big one in this area, the police headquarters, although placing it here where there's a lot of industrial traffic would be a bad idea. I think I'll place it here. And I think I have a small one here as well. Let me just try and locate it. Nope, there does not appear to be one at all here. More commercial buildings going abandoned due to not enough visitors, or should I say customers. Yeah, there isn't one at all over here when it comes to the police stations. Yeah, the coverage is kind of spread thin, so I should definitely add another police station here. Police headquarters, I mean. Let's just see where can I even place it. I think over here, or maybe even here, since the residents don't seem to be moving in, although I'll leave the room for them anyway. So yeah, 2 more police stations should take care of any more crime that might show up here. The pollution looks okay, doesn't seem to be bothering the residential zones. This sewage is not as black as it was when I was just using the sewage outflow pipes. Yeah, crime rate high here as well. Although this area should have good enough coverage from this police headquarters, and yet it does not seem to be that well covered. Possibly because there's no overlap as there is here. I may want to get another police station somewhere around here if things get out of hand. So population 189,000 and it's not budging. Unemployment 34%. Empty jobs yet to be filled. Let's see, 69, that's around 3,500 and another 3,500, so almost 7,000 jobs not filled, with the unemployment being at 35%. So yeah, a lot of weird things are happening besides having a large income. And yeah, here we go, demand for industrial has gone up once again. So the game just needs a little while to actually show you that it wants to build more, even though the unemployment rate is pretty high. All these office buildings have gone up here. They cannot seem to level up to level 3, probably not covered well enough by services. Yeah, I do not have a clinic here, which I should. And as for the death care, yeah, I should have that as well. And also I need to get another highway ramp to get through here. So the question is how? Well, let's see. If I start it off from here and connect it to this road like this, then this one can be connected back to this one here, and the highway ramp would go from here to the right side like this, and then onto the highway. Okay, and did this affect the bus lines? Nope, they seem to be fine. And I will need a new bus line to connect these areas here, and these areas here soon. So that's that care, healthcare, and do these areas need anything else? They seem to be leveling up to level 3 actually, so they might not even need anything else. Fire coverage is not the best. These things are pretty far spread, but we'll see what happens with these office buildings, and are they going to level up to level 3? For now, just these two. The rest have yet to level up. Yeah, not sure. Should I add another fire station? Let's see, does it actually make them level up? For example, if placed here. Nothing yet. The industry is probably gonna level up. But the offices, I think they might actually level up now. Some at least. Maybe not all of them. But I should have more of them leveling up very soon. Yeah, the industry will definitely level up from 2 to 3. As for the offices, it may take some time. Alright, so the population, there's no chance of getting up to 190,000 in this episode. The industrial demand is still very high. I still have a lot of unemployed. And no new zones will be filled up with Sims unless they have workplaces to go, even though there is a lot of empty jobs still available. So I'll have to deal with this in the next episode. Thank you all for watching, and please stay tuned for more.